I don't think any of us would have imagined 6 weeks ago that the world would change as dramatically as we've seen it change, but here we are. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my thoughts of COVID-19 and cycling. And I feel like my YouTube channel has become kind of a little community. You know, I feel a connection with a lot of my subscribers. As some of you know, I try to respond to most of the comments that are posted, and so we're getting used to this connection online for a while. And so I wanted to make this video for all of you cyclists out there and all the athletes out there, really. And I think being able to talk about this kind of stuff just helps bring us together. I don't think there's anybody who's watching this video who hasn't been affected by COVID-19 in some way. And this week was the week it really hit home for me. On Monday, they closed our local mountain bike trails. Monday afternoon, the county shut down all non-essential businesses. Basically, they announced it around 4 o'clock and said by midnight they had to be shut down, giving no time for preparation. So I've watched so many small business owners just overnight go from wondering if they're going to have a livelihood anymore. And, you know, we had a trip planned to North Carolina. One that I've been looking forward to for several months, and to Pisgah National Forest and DuPont State Forest, and we canceled that. And I just had a feeling like one of those trails were going to close, and sure enough, like the next day, DuPont State Forest closed down. But I just didn't want to be traveling during this time. I'm taking the social distancing seriously, and didn't want to kind of be on the road, gas stations and rest stops and all that. I would encourage you to get your information from the CDC. That's what I've been doing. I've been watching some of the news, but it's just, it's too depressing. I mean, I can't sit there and just feed the news into my mind all day long. I get the information that I need, and then I go about my life and make the decisions that I need to make for my family, for me. But like I said, get your source from the CDC. From what I understand, not everybody who is exposed to this is going to have symptoms. This is what I learned from the CDC. And 80% of people who do have symptoms have mild to moderate symptoms. So if you're watching the news and you think that everybody who's exposed to COVID-19 is going to end up on a ventilator, that's not true. Now, unfortunately, it's those that are on the ventilators that are struggling for their lives, which is horrible. And all this social distancing, the main reason to help prevent the spread of this so quickly. I'm inserting this scene because I thought about something when I was editing this video, and that is the fact that I know I mentioned that social distancing is to slow the spread of the virus, which it is, but it's also our moral and ethical responsibility to not spread this to other people who are in the higher risk category. So even though I'm gearing this video towards us as athletes and cyclists to help us get through this time, it's not just about us. We need to think about others. So again, I just wanted to mention that. I want to gear this video towards cycling, towards athletes. So let's get into that. I know most of you out there who do events, you're not doing them. I don't think there's any events going on right now. And so we've been affected that way. And I'm not going to really talk about the professional side, all the races, spring classics for cycling that have been canceled, the Giro d'Italia, possibly the Tour de France. I mean, it's crazy. But I want to talk about how this affects us where we're at day to day. I know at the core of cycling is just being able to get outside and exercise on a bike, or inside if you're in a country where you're completely locked down and can't get outside to ride a bike. It's illegal, but just that stress relief, that release of endorphins, and like I said, reducing your stress, because that's going to boost your immune system. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on in this video, is ways that we can try to boost up our immune system, which I think cycling is going to give us a little bit of an edge, or running, or whatever your sport is. Now I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but as athletes, as cyclists, we take responsibility for our health, because these bodies are our engines. And so I think most of us probably take our health pretty seriously, and like I said, I think that's going to give us a little bit of an edge should we ever come in contact with this disease. So now we're not invincible, and you need to take all the precautions you can, but if you're pretty healthy, you eat healthy, and you don't smoke, and you exercise, I think you're going to have an immune system and a cardiovascular system that's at least, like I said, a little bit of an edge in being prepared should you be exposed. Even though my mountain bike trails were closed down, at least I can get out on my gravel bike, and there are some trails that are still open that I can drive to. They're about an hour away, which they're open right now. So it's been such a relief to just get outside on my bike. Today I did a 71-mile gravel ride, and it's great. I mean, I'm so thankful. I was supposed to be in Pisgah National Forest mountain biking with my boy today, but I'll take the gravel ride today, because compared to what's going on in a lot of places in the world, especially New York City, I'm very fortunate. If you're not in that situation, you're very fortunate. So my advice to you right now is, if you can ride, ride. You don't want to be taking chances right now. You do not want to be in a hospital. It's probably the last place you ever want to be right now. You don't want to be exposed to people who may be in there with COVID-19, and you definitely don't want to be taking up the resources, beds, medical providers, because you were in a cycling accident. So obviously this is a time where we want to maintain our fitness. We want to have the stress relief of exercising, but you do not want to take chances. And that's especially true for people who mountain bike. If you can ride on the trails, just ride. Don't do anything that's real sketchy, any big jumps. Don't try that backflip you've always been wanting to try. Just let it go till later. You'll get your chance. I think you want to be in a place right now where you're just, like I said, maintaining that fitness and not really taxing your body too much, because you don't want to break down your immune system. Now, I did watch a video by Johson, which I'll link below, and he kind of went into the immune system and exercising. It's a really good video. I watch a lot of his videos. He lives in one of my favorite places to ride. He's a cycling coach, and he rides a Niner bike. So I like watching his videos. But like I said, I'll link that one below. I listened to a podcast the other day that said people who exercise moderately 5 to 7 days per week are 40% less likely to have an upper respiratory infection. In other words, exercising consistently will make your body a little bit more immune to viruses, to sicknesses. So that's why you want to keep riding. Also, like I said before, it's the stress relief. Being stressed out will lower your immune system. It's been medically proven. I've had it happen to me. This past December, January, February was a extremely stressful time for me at work, and I got sick twice during that time period. I hardly ever get sick, and I could just feel the stress in my body. This week, I could feel the stress in my body. I found some ways to relieve it, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But exercising not only boosts your immune system, it also reduces stress, which also strengthens your immune system. Now, I've been able to exercise outside up until now, and I plan to keep doing it. The weather right now is just beautiful. This is one of the best times of the year to ride. And so I have Zwift, but I haven't really used it yet. I know Zwift is just blowing up right now with people, especially in Europe, who can't get out and ride. So there's probably a whole bunch of people out there who have never used Zwift up until now. And I like it. There's times when, especially in the summer, when it's just crazy hot or it's raining, there's times I really like Zwift, so I'm sure I'll be spending some time on Zwift coming up. I am riding solo right now, as most of y'all out there probably are and should. Riding in a group, you're just, being behind people, you're breathing in the air that they've breathed out, so obviously you don't want to be in that situation. And also, riding in a group increases your likelihood of having a crash. Riding around people in close proximity to people, especially on a road bike. Now, I think if you cannot get out with 3 or 4 or 5 people on a mountain bike trail and you space yourself out and you don't really huddle together, I think that's fine. I'd be doing it right now if I could. The trails are open. I'm still going to keep making videos. I've got several videos that are queued up on YouTube right now. I think anything we can do to help kind of get our mind off the news and have some kind of sense of normalcy. Things that we're used to is really important. I want to do my part in helping y'all with that. I got an email from a friend of mine who has a sister in Belgium, and she's on complete lockdown, and just started watching some of my videos and recognized the t-shirt and asked my friend if he knew me, and he said yeah. So he thanked me for doing my part by making the videos to kind of give us a little bit of distraction from some of the other stuff that's going on. So that was really encouraging to me. So I have thought about some positives of this, because I always try to look at the silver lining. Some of them minor, some of them major. One of them is probably reduced air pollution right now. A lot less planes in the sky, a lot less cars on the road, a lot less people traveling. So we probably have less air pollution. I do think in the end, this is going to make us stronger, and it's probably going to help some of us shift our priorities around. I know when we go through storms like this in life, it can reveal what your foundation is. And that can, in the long term, be a good thing. For me, my foundation is my family, my friends, my faith, and getting outside and riding my bike, and food. Can't forget food. So, those are the things that are most important to me, and I'm trying to, maintain those as best I can right now. I really hope when this is all over, people will take more responsibility for their health, especially in America. Americans are not the healthiest people, a lot of them. And so I'm hoping this will help people really understand how important it is. We never know what's coming down the road, so being in the best health that you can is so important. Another thing good that may come out of this is, with all of this social distancing, we've kind of become a society where we're behind screens so much. We're communicating through Facebook and Twitter and text instead of face-to-face. Maybe after all this, people will kind of get sick of that, and when we have the opportunity to be face-to-face, we'll take advantage of that. So again, another positive that hopefully will come out of this. Another thing that may come out of this is I hope it brings families closer together. So my ride last Saturday took me through a small town, and I saw so many couples and families out riding their bikes or scootering or walking. I haven't seen that many in one time period, and people are just getting out and kind of just spending time with their families. And finally, when this is all over, I think all of us are going to be so appreciative of the lives that we have, whether it's being able to order things on Amazon or riding your mountain bike trails or just going to a restaurant to go out to eat. My gosh, there are so many things we can't do right now that we've probably taken for granted, and most of us going through this are not going to take those things for granted anymore. I'll wrap up this video with 5 things that I've identified that can boost your immune system and hopefully protect you a little bit should you ever be exposed to this virus. So one is eat well. That's an obvious, but it's so important. Don't eat the junk food. Don't eat the fast food. Put things in your body that are natural, that are healthy. Stay away from sugar. White sugar can lower your immune system. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. This is just things that I've read, that I've learned, that have worked in my life. But just eat healthy. Enough said. And like I said before, exercising can boost your immune system, and it can also reduce your stress and anxiety, which the world literally is experiencing right now. So exercise, please. Get plenty of rest. Rest is another thing that can boost your immune system. Don't binge watch the news before you go to bed. It will affect your sleep. Decompress after your day and get in bed at a decent time, and try to get plenty of rest. Number 4 is stay away from things that cause stress. Like I mentioned earlier, get the information you need, but don't sit there and binge watch the news. It is not going to help your stress level. And finally, don't forget to laugh. I spent probably 45 minutes Monday night, and that's Mondays when it all hit the fan, but I spent about 45 minutes watching news bloopers. I was cracking up.
DD mega doo-doo, I'm sorry, Mangudu.
And after laughing so hard, I just realized, I just felt so much better and realized how much we need to laugh. Fortunately, we have access to a lot of funny online content. Whatever it takes, man. Just try to laugh in the midst of this crazy time. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know how you're doing out there. Have you been affected directly by COVID-19 as far as contracting the disease? Anybody that you know? Fortunately, nobody that I know have come down with the disease. If some of you have direct information, hopefully it's not you, but if you do, let us know in the comments below. So stay safe out there and try to keep exercising if you can. Thanks for watching.